Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Joe French from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. And we're talking about a real serious topic of, my goodness, is it the National Institute of Health or the CDC? CDC has come to town to study why in the world we've had so many teen suicides in our community. You have one thing coming up that's going to be encouraging, coming up in a couple of days. Tell us about that.
Sure. We are partnering with Belden Village Mall and the Stark County Mental Health and Addiction Recovery Board, better known as Stark MAR, for a program at the mall called an encouragement party. And it's on April 14th from 1 to 3. So if you walk into center court of the mall, you're going to find a chessboard, a large chessboard, Connect Four board games. Because, again, we know the importance of that interaction with their family, friends, doing something fun, interactive. Also, if you go into the food court, it's my understanding there's also going to be a dinner table and with facts about the importance of sitting down and having, again, as we keep going back to conversation and how important that is in our daily lives of connecting with somebody during the day. And so I encourage everybody to come out, be a part of the event. We are wonderfully happy to be partnering with Belden Village Mall. They reached out to us and said, hey, we want to be proactive about the things that are going on in our community. And we brainstormed a whole bunch of ideas and came up with this, what we're calling the encouragement party.
Love it. How important is that family dinner table, and how unusual that we've hit a time in history where we need to teach families how to sit down and eat dinner together?
It is so true. And if you think about families that are trying to rush from one thing to the next, so they're doing the quick, let's run through and grab something quickly so that I can get you to the next event. And not that those events aren't important, because it definitely teaches teamwork and all these wonderful values. But it's also just as important to have those times together with our parents, our loved ones, however you define family, to have that time together. And it builds such a community within their household that is so important. And we have really gotten away from that.
Are our children overscheduled?
I believe that can be the case in some instances. I also think that it's important for children to feel like they are accomplishing something. So again, it's finding that balance. The balance is so important to any child. And once they kind of lose interest or maybe want to try something new, then I would encourage parents to kind of, again, tell me more about that. What is it that you would like to do? What didn't you like? So that you can understand and not force them into something else that they're going to not want to do as well. But that stick-to-itiveness is really important, but at the same time, you gotta listen to the voices of our kids.
Right. And that it's something that they're doing because they want to be doing it, not because mom and dad are wanting to relive their glory days or something through their children.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned board games. I think that's very interesting that this would be, talk about low tech, that it's something that brings a family together. You're not staring at a tube. You're actually interacting. You're kind of having conversations, even if it's, you jumped on my Park Place and I own that. And you
Absolutely.
Know. But talk about the importance of just sitting around playing some board games.
Board games can teach so many different skills. Number one, social skills, taking a turn. Not everybody in life is going to win everything that you do. And so it's important to understand that there's graciousness in winning and there's graciousness in losing, and understanding that importance of those things. Also, just the camaraderie that goes along when playing games. I remember having wonderful memories of playing games with my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, Chinese checkers to Sorry, all of those games from back in the day. They're also very educational. When I worked for the Spark program in Alliance, one of the things that we always would do is give families board games and tell them, when you play this game, you're not only doing certain skills and those social skills, but also math skills, because the child has to count one-to-one correspondence. I got 5 on the dice, so I get to move 5 spots. All of those wonderful developmental skills can be found simply in a board game.
At what age do you have to really teach them the rules? Because sometimes it's fun to just let the kids play. However, and I'm the grandma, I always let them beat me. You know that I feel that's my job.
Sure. Well, and I think that again, I'm not sure. There's lots of different philosophies about that, but I believe that it's important just to have that interaction. Okay. And I love when kids come up with new and as long as everybody agrees to it. Hey, have fun with it.
Okay.
I always love when kids try to read you a book, and I don't care what it says. They're using their imagination to tell me what they see in pictures and so forth. And so I think that there's a richness to that.
Love that too.
Yeah, I love watching kids grow and develop. And, what do we do now with, a lot of people ask me why I was drawn to child and adolescent behavioral health. And I said, it's about giving kids hope. It's about understanding that those social and emotional skills are so important. Academics will come. Academics certainly will come. But if you're not socially and emotionally ready for school, I'm not sure you're truly ever going to be ready. And so it's our job to make sure that they are ready with how they're feeling and those emotions that are forever raging at times.
As we're trying to make it okay for kids to make mistakes, let's remind parents it's okay for them to make mistakes as well.
Absolutely.
You're going to, right? We're going to. I heard Dr. Ray, I'm going to credit him with this. He said the good parents make way more mistakes than the bad parents just because they're with their kids more.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was pretty profound. So don't be so hard on yourself because, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm forming and molding this child. Are they going to be okay or am I going to mess them up?
And I think the other thing that's really important about that is parents have to understand that our society is different. And the mere fact that you reach out to find additional services and help for your child makes you a hero. Because I think with all the stigma that comes along, I want to erase all that stigma because it's important. If you have cancer, you go and seek treatment.
That's right.
If you have diabetes, you receive treatment. It's the same thing with mental health and behavioral health services. If you need services, reach out, get the services, get the treatment because it will change your life forever.
If we go so far as to talk about mental illness, it is a physical illness, is it not? There's some chemical difference in a brain that's causing an illness. Treat it with a professional as you would any physical illness.
Absolutely. If you need a medication, you would go and see your doctor. Go see a child psychiatrist to see. Again, there's no harm in finding out the answers. It's just like going through any other type of diagnosis. You need to go see a professional, do the assessment, and then go with the treatment. And that's so important. But we have to applaud parents who take that step because that's a scary step. I can tell you from personal experience how important it is for us to say, it's okay. And mom, dad, whomever, thank you for taking that step because your child matters. And I know it's scary, but I would tell you that's what our team is there for. They are trained professionals. They are amazing men and women who work in our community to make tomorrow better for kids.
Yeah. Let's talk about bullying a little bit.
Okay.
It is a problem in the area. I heard a very interesting thing said by a young man the other day. Was working at a urban after-school program, and they were talking about bullying, and he said, I don't bully. I don't bully. And somebody else looked at him really funny, like, are you kidding me? You don't bully anybody? And he said, not anymore. He said, all those kids started taking their lives. I stopped. Do you think that maybe the message is getting through to some kids who maybe they talk trash at home, so they kind of take that to school, and that's a good-natured thing? And then there's serious bullying with children who have problems. But do you think the message is maybe getting through to be kinder to each other?
I believe that is a key message that needs to get out to everybody in our community, young, old, everyone alike.
Politicians?
Everybody in our community needs to understand that the only thing that's going to ever change the world is kindness and spreading positivity. I can't stress that enough. And to understand that being different is okay. Being different is just that. It's not right or wrong. It's just different.
Well, who's not?
And let's
all
embrace that uniqueness,
We're
because
all different.
every one of us has a unique quality to ourselves that we need to embrace and applaud. You know, I just said this to a staff member today, and I said the important thing is that you're entitled to your opinion. I may not agree with it,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that I have to devalue you any less.
Thank
because
you.
we're entitled to our opinions.
That's right.
We're entitled to that. And I think that that's important for kids to understand, that everybody in this world is different. And just because you're different doesn't mean that you're better or less than anyone else. And spreading kindness and positivity is the key to success.
If everybody was always exactly the same, then everybody except one person would be superfluous, right?
Absolutely.
You would only need one. Why have, a whole multiplicity of everybody? You mentioned, like in our closing moments here, you mentioned something that started with H, and O, and all I did was write down those initials. What was that? Something about hope and happiness and your core goal.
Our core mission at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health is health, hope, happiness, and opportunity for children and their families. And that is key to everything that we do. We have some amazing partners, as I mentioned, Stark Mental Health and Addiction Recovery. We also partner with United Way of Greater Stark County. We partner with Sisters of Charity Foundation of Canton. We have a great partnership with the Stark Community Foundation. All of those partners help us really come together and be able to afford the services that we provide to children. And I thank you for taking you're doing advocacy work to make sure that families understand the importance of this message and what they can do to make their children's lives better.
You have a text hotline where people can get help. What is that?
Absolutely. So if a child would like to talk to somebody anonymously with any concerns that they have, they can text for hope to 741-741. That's text for hope to 741-741. And that goes directly to our local crisis center, and somebody is there 24/7 to text them back and give them hope.
Joe French from the Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, we thank you so much for all you're doing in our community.
Thank you, Susie, for having me.